Hello, good people. Welcome to my channel. I am Zawadi Rose, and I'm so happy to be doing another video about land. Yes, and I want to say thank you so much to my new subscribers. I've been quite busy, honestly. Yeah, I'm currently working as a teacher. I know I do a lot of things, but I've currently been so grounded working as a teacher, and it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, teaching little kids, it's been quite fun. So that's why I've been really busy, but I thank God for that. So thank you for the new subscribers. Welcome, karibuni sana. And also, if you're watching this channel for the first time, please find time to like, share, make sure you subscribe. Yes, let's grow the family. And thank you so much also for the people who have expressed their interest in moving to Malindi. There are those who have already moved to Malindi courtesy of my videos. So I'm really grateful. At least I know I've helped somebody. And that is why I've come back to do another video, because I know it's also going to help someone. And I believe you who is watching this channel or this video today is going to learn something that is going to be of benefit to you. So I want to talk about misconceptions about buying land in Malindi. And it's more like I'm answering questions that have been asked. Yeah, there's a lady I've been talking to recently. We've been talking for about 3 weeks now, and she's had lots of questions. I don't want to mention her name. She's one of my newest subscribers, and thank you so much. And she's asked me lots of questions, and I've thought it wise to make a video so that I can be able to ask, in summary, some of those questions. And I want to answer that by talking about the misconceptions about buying land in Malindi, and basically what are the false information that is out there about buying land in Malindi. What is it that you've been told that is not true? Number one is that buying land in Malindi is a useless venture. Really now? Really now? So, as a proud land owner here in Malindi, I can say my land is not useless. What makes land useless? Not just here, but in any other part of the country that you can buy land. You know, um, you can buy land even in Nairobi and your land becomes useless. How? Anything that you're not using. If you buy a pair of shoes today out of excitement because it's on offer and you put it in your shoe rack and never put it on, basically that shoe is useless, right? Yes. Anything, if you buy a bag of rice and you pack it in your store or in your pantry and you never use it, you never cook it, at the end of the day, it's going to be useless, right? The same case applies to land. If you buy land out of excitement, it's on offer. There's this thing that people in our community say that land, mafuta, like it's glittering, so to say. Yeah, the land is on offer, and you rush to buy because you know what? I also want to be a landowner, and you buy the land, and after buying it, you park it there. You have the title deed, and you're doing nothing with it. That land automatically becomes useless. So in your mind, anybody will tell you that in your mind that land is useless because it's not giving you anything. It is not an investment per se, because an investment is supposed to be giving you something. So you've not built a house where you're going to live in, and or you've not built rentals, you've not planted anything. So basically that land is useless. So regardless of where you buy your land, as long as that land is not in use, it is definitely quote and quote useless, because land is never useless. Land is never useless. Wherever you buy it, it's never useless. But once you don't put it into use, it will be kind of useless, right? So if you're buying land anywhere, look at what you can do with that land. Look at what is happening around. There are places where I know there are people who have bought land in places where it's all bush, it's all like kind of savannah, and you're like, what am I going to do with this land? There's something you can do with that land. For example, I've seen people planting trees. Like there are trees that are quite drought resistant, like the here we call them Mikilifi. In Swahili, it's Miarubaini. I don't know what is the English name. Those trees are quite drought resistant. You can get someone, plant them, water them for some time. Once they are well, is it rooted? I don't know which word you use for that. Once they've picked up really good, then you can leave them. Once you're ready to use that land, maybe the trees will have grown and you can cut them and sell or something like that. So you can plant trees, and it's not going to be all use. There's something you can do with that land. Or you can give it to someone to farm for some time before you can come and see what to do with it. So misconception number two, land in Malindi is very, 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 very cheap. Yes, land is cheap, but is it in the whole of Malindi? No. There are some places in Malindi where an acre goes for 20 million. That is Malindi. There are places in Malindi where an acre goes for as low as 50,000 Kenya shillings. Yes, that is still Malindi. So the price of land or the cost of land depends on where is the location. I see most people ask me in the other videos, like where is it located? How many kilometers from town? What is the price? So, and for the people who have mentioned the prices, some are really shocked because I tell you, it depends on where the land is. For example, for land that is near tarmac, it's not going to have the same price as land that is like 5 kilometers from tarmac, definitely. So it depends on the location. I think in every other count in this country, the price of land depends on where is the location. Yes, everywhere there is very expensive land and there is very cheap land depending on the location, and also depending on how developed is that place. There are places where the land was just given away to the community, so there weren't many people living there, so there are no social amenities and all that. So definitely land there is quite cheap. That is a fact. So land is not cheap in Malindi. Land is cheap depending on where. So there are people who get really, really cheap land, especially people who come and buy like 100 acres. And these are people who have money to, they just come clear the land, they dig up wells and they start farming. There are people who are doing really crazy farming here in Malindi. They dig up their own wells and they have land tracts of land and they start digging. So what I'm saying is that land is cheap and land is not cheap. Because if the land is cheap and it's far, definitely the price of buying, the buying cost is lower, but definitely the price of probably getting other things is going to be a bit high. So you're going to get a kind of a balance, but there's an advantage when you buy cheap land, and especially if you have money and you can dig up your own well. That is super, super really great, because I've seen many people who are able to do that, dig up your own well, and you're able to do with constructions and all that comfortably. So land is cheap and land is not cheap. It depends on where you buy that land, what you want to do with the land. Okay? That is misconception number two. But again, that factor on that land is cheap, it is also true in that um, because the coastal area is not like it's one, the weather is not very favorable like for farming, so land cannot be very expensive because you cannot do a lot of farming because there's no, the rains are kind of scanty, so that also affects the price. Okay, but that thing of land is cheap, so cheap land cannot be good land, that is a whole different kind of story. Okay, I hope I've answered that question well. So, misconception number three is that land in Malindi and land in the coastal area has no title deeds. That is a lie because I have a title deed for my piece of land. So, I don't know. But there are people who were given land, especially those who are given land by the government, and probably what they have is the plot numbers. I think they're called plot numbers, I think something like that. So, but their title deeds have not been processed yet. There are people who have that. And also, there are areas where they're still fighting over community land, or something like that. Huh? So, when you're buying land, anywhere in this country, I don't want just to narrow it down to Malindi or the coast. anywhere in this country, because there have been many cases of people who have bought land, even in Eldoret, Kericho, Nakuru, elsewhere, and they are having problems with title deeds. It is up to you to do your due diligence. Find out, is the person selling this land to me? Does the person who is selling this land to me have a title deed? That is your responsibility. Make sure that you do a search. I think I talked about that in another video. Make sure you do a search to ascertain that this particular title deed is the correct title deed. Check the land number, verify, okay? Make sure you visit the offices, the Ministry of Lands, do a search. Please, it is good to do your due diligence. Don't buy land blindly anywhere in this country. They are very crafty people everywhere, not just in Malindi. I mean, I think even cases here can be a bit easier because there are people who have never really gotten title deeds, but there are lands that have title deeds. So do your due diligence. If you're buying from companies, from these land companies, these land agents, make sure you do your search, you do your research. Make sure that the company will not dupe you. And you'll come here and start saying that land in Malindi is this one and that one. So there are title deeds. There are title deeds, but it's up to you to do your due diligence. I advise people that I bought my first piece of land when I was not here. Okay. So I just paid and later I came to find out where the land was. That was a big mistake. But right now I don't call it mistake because I've put it into use, right? But please, it's good to come and see where am I that buying that land. Look at the neighborhood. Ask around. It is good to. It's good to do your due diligence. Do your homework. Don't buy land and complain later. So that thing about there are no title deeds is another misconception. There are title deeds, but there are also places here in the coast and elsewhere in the country where there are no title deeds. And there are places where you're going to be duped because you did not do your homework. So just do your homework. Okay? I believe that I've been able to answer that question right on the misconceptions about land in Malindi. But what I want to say is that there is nothing as good as having your own piece of land. There is nothing that's good as having your own piece of land. For those who read the Bible, you know that a time will come when you will not be able to live in the urban areas. Like you just need to have your own place where you can grow your vegetables. Otherwise, you're going to suffer. I think you know what I'm talking about. So it's good to have your own piece of land. It's good to invest, to buy land like for the generations to come, like for your kids. If you're a parent like me, you need to settle your kids, like have somewhere where in future you can tell them like you can start off your life here, or if you don't want to start off, you can sell and buy whatever it is that you want to buy. But I've seen like for our parents who they got some inheritance and they had a place to start off before later they decided to move to other places. I think for them they had an easy start. And I think for some of us we've had difficulty starting off because you've been renting and renting and paying rent and paying rent and paying rent. You see, so there's nothing as good as having your own piece of land. You can do your rentals. And I had done a video on businesses that you can do in Malindi, and I think I'm going to do another video on the same. And also I'm going to repeat like ideas on the kind of fruit trees, not just trees, fruit trees that you can grow here in Malindi, and you're going to reap some really good benefits, right? So I want to take this opportunity to say thank you so much to all the new subscribers. And if not subscribed, please find time to subscribe. Find a second to subscribe. Like the video, share it, and think about investing. It's very important. Think about investing. We never have enough money. We never have enough, but when you know that at the back of your mind, like you have a place where in case of anything you can sell it off or you can go and settle there. It's really, really comforting. So I wish the very best. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out on my WhatsApp. I think I've put my number somewhere, my WhatsApp number. You can talk to me on WhatsApp. It's easier to get me there. Guys, God bless you. My name is Zawadi. Have a good one. Bye.